everyone. Thanks for arriving on what was an afternoon with some significant storms that went through. It's good they went through. So let's settle into our evening with our meditation. Those of us here and those connecting online. So taking a couple of minutes to set up our mind and body for the meditation as we settle down into this mindful, calm, conscious space. Setting up a domain for being, simply being and knowing, mind movement away from the doing and thinking of how we might often be engaging mind and body. Time to pause, settle down, settle in, going into that inner space of peace, calm, clarity, understanding, insight, and freedom. Body settling down. New contact sensations. Feet connecting with the floor. Feeling our body connecting with the chair, cushion, or meditation stool. Feeling our hands and fingers resting in our lap. Feeling the gentle movement of shoulders, chest, abdomen, belly as the body breathes. Noticing our face, maybe feeling the air connecting with our face. So noticing light coming in through the closed eyelids. And even looking into that lightness, brightness, blankness through the closed eyelids. Coming and going with a few background sounds. Maybe the inner sound of thoughts or sight of thoughts, but not getting caught up into those. And rather choosing to focus our awareness in the present by connecting with each breath. Just the naturally occurring breath, allowing our body to breathe itself naturally. Letting the body settle into its own natural rhythm and process of breathing. And noticing and feeling each breath, particularly at the nose, nostril area. Receiving that sensation of the in-breath. Feeling the flow of the out-breath. whilst also looking into the lightness, brightness through the closed eyelids. And if it's helpful to use one or two mental words in our mind with each breath, helping to focus, such words as calm on the in-breath, ease on the out-breath, calm, ease, calm, ease, calm, ease. Exercising attention, developing focus, collectedness, concentration, and inner calm ease. Welcome, Neil, to the meditation group. And also, Kathy. Welcome, Kathy. Please help yourself to some tea, biscuits, and we can have some reflections and questions. And can I get you to turn the urn down? Yes.
What do you like to have it at?
Oh, it just can go down to 0, basically.
I know. Thank you.
The points of practice in the context of Buddhist teachings is to realize reality, realize what's real, not to be caught up in what's not real. Because when we're caught up or see things as not real, it tends to cause disappointment, distress at some time or other. Certainly, it's the Buddhist practice is about waking up, seeing things clearly, seeing the truth of things. So a lot of the Buddhist teachings are pointing out how things really are, which can be challenging because often it goes against how we maybe want things to be, like things to be, feel things should be. But when we align with the truth of things, then it makes life a lot more simple, easier, and again, less disappointment, stress, and suffering. So the Buddha pointed out the 3 characteristics of all things, of all phenomena. The Buddhist word for phenomena is sankhara. So the Buddha said, sabbe sankhara anicca. And as one of the truths, sabbe sankhara dukkha, sabbe sankhara anattā. So the first one of the 3 characteristics, significant characteristics that it's important to see, realize, wake up to. The first one, sabbe sankhara anicca. Sabbe means all. sankhara phenomena, anicca, the opposite of nicca, nicca permanent, anicca not permanent. So all things are impermanent, changing, fluxing, transitioning, which then causes sabbe sankhara dukkha. Dukkha, the word for unsatisfactory, unsatisfying, a source of stress and suffering, because things change. And if everything's changing, including this mind-body complex, that which I take myself to be, then sabbe sankhara anattā, all phenomena, all things are not a permanent self, a permanent ego identity. There is a sense of self, psychological self, but it's changing, it's fluxing, it's in a state of change. And that fundamentally is because if the sense of self comes from the body's changing. If the sense of self comes from what I do, role, job description, that changes. Status, that changes. Age, the body changes. And certainly mood and emotions and mental states and thoughts change. So that this thing that we take ourselves to be is in a state of flux. This evening I wanted to reflect upon a result of impermanence. So again, the Buddha is saying that all things are subject to change, and they change because of cause and effect, cause and conditions. So is change, is impermanence good or not good? It depends. It is. If something which is painful and difficult changes, we go, oh, change is good. That's good. And be looking forward to this changing. Looking forward to the week becoming the weekend, or this month becoming next month, or the coming of summer, or next year even. So it's quite relative as to whether we feel it's change is good or bad. Depends upon the thing, depends upon our perception of it, how it relates to us. But certainly the fact is that things change. Things change. And when they do change, they create this another sort of layer of reality or another truth, which we can see as uncertainty. Uncertainty. So we live with change, but also that causes having to live with uncertainty. So we live in this realm, this conditioned realm of uncertainty. And again, is that good? Is it bad? Is it a source of happiness or distress? Well, again, it depends. Depends. Sometimes uncertainty can be a real refuge. If one's not well, and you want that to change, a sense, okay, well, maybe I can get better. Maybe this will change, or maybe a certain situation, maybe it will change. Taking refuge in the fact that yes, things change, and it's not a sure thing that it's going to stay the same. Dealing with living with uncertainty. But I think for the most part, we as human beings, we like to have certainty. We like to know what's going on, what's happening, what's for sure, and knowing that maybe that's not the truth of things, not reality, that we live with uncertainty. We can have a hope, we can have a desire, we can have a wish, we can have an aspiration, but it maybe won't work out. Things will change. Maybe even change for the better. Something better happens. I was expecting this, didn't happen because it was uncertain. Things were uncertain. Something better happened. Better opportunity. But again, I think that psychologically, even physiologically, humans do better when there is degrees of certainty. I know where I'm sleeping tonight. I know what I'm having for dinner tonight. I know where I'm going to wake up in the morning. I know what I've got to do tomorrow. I know what's maybe happening on the weekend. But when it's not sure, it's not a sure thing. You don't know, you don't know. Then that can create a sense of unease. And a lot of anxiety is around just that uncertainty. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Will it work out? Will it be okay? And yet, a lot of the uncertainty that creates anxiety can be diminished if we open up to the fact that it's a reality, the truth of uncertainty. Uncertainty is certain. It's a sure thing that things are uncertain. Better get used to it. And in Thai, they have, in the Thai language, they have a word which people use a lot, word for uncertainty, which is mai ne non, mai ne non. Ne, ne non means certain, and then mai negates it. Mai is a word that's often used before another word that negates. So we got D, which is good, my D, not good. Chalk, I like. My chalk, I don't like. So that my near non is uncertainty. The same way that we have certain and then we put the un in front of it, uncertain, uncertainty. And they even shorten my near non to my near, my near, my near. It's uncertain, it's not a sure thing, uncertainty. And which allows one to let go a bit, sort of psychologically let go, stop holding, clinging, craving, getting caught up in something, because it may not come to fruition. It may change. It might get better, might get worse. Not sure. Mine air. So in that sense, we could say, well, is it a blessing or blight, living with uncertainty? It's maybe it's both. It's both a blessing and a blight. Again, depends upon what the situation is, what the circumstance is, what it is that's being uncertain. And so that it's a matter of our sort of perspective on things. But coming back to the idea of uncertainty, or the fact of uncertainty, what is certain? Nothing. Because again, the Buddha said everything is impermanent, everything changes, one thing changes, affects another thing, another thing, another thing, another thing, cause and effect. So that what is certain? Nothing is certain. I'll have some nothing, please. I like certainty, I'll have nothing. More nothing. How much nothing do you want? Because no thing is certain. Nothing is certain. But again, being able to open up and accommodate the uncertainty of life is to live in accordance with the truth of things, to have a sense of flow, to be able to live more according to reality. And sure, it's like, okay, well, we can try and set things up that they work out well, but we know causes and conditions, impermanence, and uncertainty. So when it doesn't work out as we maybe wanted, liked, wished for, hoped for, we can then let go. Or maybe even not be attached in the first place. Set it up. Are you attached to that outcome? No. We'll see how it goes. If it works out, fine. If it doesn't work out, fine. Maybe something different will work out, something even better. And I was thinking that human beings now in the 21st century are having to deal with more uncertainty than what they dealt with in the 20th century, or maybe even the 19th century, because things are changing quicker. So on many fronts, things are changing quick. I was just speaking to Brendan just before the group about IT and technology and um, Microsoft and Google and Apple and so forth, and it keeps on, programs keep on changing, so you've got to keep up to date with things. Not like, okay, you've got a computer, it's going to be fine for the next 10, 15 years, and you don't have to do downgrades or uploads or whatever, it's just, it'll run. It's like, no, it's like it's keeps on changing. And if you don't keep changing with the changes, dealing with the changes, then things don't operate. So certainly technology, that changes so rapidly. Also current affairs issues, politics, finances, products that don't work anymore, they're not built to last. The first printer that I got with my first computer, I had it for about 15 years. Just a basic printer, and I even gave it away at the end because to my brother's kids, because it still worked well. But these days you buy a printer, even spend a bit of money on a printer, and a few years later it's not working because they want you to throw it away and get a new one. So it's like built-in impermanence, built-in uncertainty as to how long it's really going to last for. And yet other things as well, that even the weather's becoming more uncertain just because of the way in which the global sort of climate patterns are happening, what's going on in the earth affecting the weather patterns and climate, so that becomes more uncertain. And then because of all these more pressures and stresses on people with uncertainty and change, then even our states of mind and moods become more changeable and uncertain. So how will I feel tomorrow? Well, I'm not sure. It depends upon what I've got to deal with. Because things change. And then even dynamics between relationships change because of the uncertainty. More stress, so that affects how people feel and relate and connect. Even like job security. People get a job, they used to get a job, and you'd have that job for the rest of your life. And nothing much would change. You might sort of go up the ladder a little bit, but sort of a job for life. There's less and less of those sorts of jobs around. Even if you can still do the job, but the company's been sold, or we don't need that sort of occupation anymore. It's being done by AI. AI's got your job. So all this creates a sense of unease for human beings. So it's about finding a way of accommodating this reality, this truth, flowing with it. Yes, it's helpful to have aspirations, goals, and ideals, but not be too attached to them because things can change. And in being able to change oneself so that, okay, that's not happening, I can modify myself and see other opportunities, new sort of realities and ways in which human beings have to live. And I think part of being able to accommodate that is meditation, mindfulness, being more present. Studies show that people that practice mindfulness have increased neuroplasticity. Brain is more malleable and able to accommodate, adopt, change, deal with things. So certainly meditation can be really helpful for that. And being able to be calm and clear-minded, not getting caught up reacting to things when they do change or become uncertain. And also having that calm composure, patience, equanimity, being able to let go and flow. flow with the way of things. So just as a reminder for ourselves to go, okay, yes, the Buddha pointed out the truth that all things change, and that because there's change, then there's going to be uncertainty, just through the law of cause and effect, that things that are happening now that have been caused through a process of cause and effect that maybe from years ago, decades ago, a long time ago, and that we can flow with that, maybe even enjoy it. See it as a bit of a point of practice to always have that background perspective. Yes, we live with change, and we live in the realm of uncertainty. And therefore there's less likelihood of disappointment and grief and upset when things do change. So for yourselves, probably experienced lots of change and uncertainty over the course of our lifetimes. Are we getting better at dealing with that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Flowing with it.
Well, there is something certain. Change is certain. Dukkha is certain.
Yes, but it's all relative, like it says.
And then we need equanimity.
That's right. That's right. Will we be able to have enough equanimity? That's uncertain. Not sure. Depends upon what
And
the
there is
situation
change there again.
Yes.
Sometimes
yes.
there is, sometimes not.
Yeah. Yeah. So the certainty of uncertainty. Possibility of enjoying nothing, because nothing doesn't change. All things change, but nothing doesn't change.
Oh, Nibbana doesn't change.
That's right, because it's not a thing.
Yeah. There is something.
So has anyone had sort of some real challenges dealing with uncertainty?
Yeah, not currently, but in the past, certainly when my son was ill and going through a lot of health issues, so a lot of uncertainty around, is he going to get through this? How is he going to get through it? How's it going to affect his life?
Yeah.
How's it affecting my life and the rest of the family? So that, and whenever we have ill family members, that there's a lot of uncertainty coming forward. So I'm sure everybody here's been through something like that.
Does it seem like there's more uncertainty in the world because of things changing quicker? That's my perception, but others perceiving that as well?
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned AI, so I don't know what my job is going to be like in a couple of years, or if it will even exist anymore. So yeah, I think when you're in technology space, it's always been, well, since I've been in the technology space, it's always changed a lot. But
Yes.
now it's even more so,
Changing quicker.
very rapid. So
yeah,
jobs that I thought were not lifetime jobs, I don't think they exist anymore either, but long-term jobs, they seem to be disappearing now quite quickly. So I think it's going to affect nearly everybody across the planet to some degree, but certainly in technology, there's a lot of uncertainty right now.
Yeah. Maybe the more we simplify things, there's less complexity and less complications. It allows for less uncertainty. There's less things having to connect to bring things about.
And I think, John, when you talked about identity before, is my sense of self tied to the job that I do, and I guess letting go of that, and acknowledging that that's just an aspect of how I earn my livelihood. It's not. There's no permanent self there.
Yeah.
So it's something to just recognize and not be attached to. Okay, it's going to change. I don't have a lot of control over it, but it's not a permanent self. So there's not something there to attach to and to, I guess, be upset about and stressed about.
It's like we can still function very effectively, efficiently in life without attachment. Attachment just creates more complications, especially when things change or we change or people change. But even our sense of identity, sense of self can change over the course of one's lifetime, which it does anyway. But the less we're sort of stuck, I have to hold on to who I am and as this. It's like, well, isn't it about growth and learning, growing, maturing, evolving as a human being, which means change. And so in that sense, change is good. Even a child getting educated and learning and growing and their identity changing as well. So change, it is what it is. It's part of this realm of experience, and it's about being aware of it and flowing with it.
John, have you read Viktor Frankl's book?
Have I
read Viktor Frankl's book?
Man's Search for Meaning?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I've sort of read it, sort of heard aspects of it and sort of studied little bits of it, but not the whole book.
This conversation just reminds me of it because there's a line in the book where so much awful and chaotic things are happening around him, and he has a lot of uncertainty as to whether he will ever get out and whether his wife is alive and whether he'll be beaten the next day or whether his best friend will die. And he just says at one point that he sort of realized that no matter what was happening around him, he didn't have to have any control over that because he could, because no one could change who he was inside his own mind, and the sanctity of being within yourself. And being able to let go of everything that was happening around you and the need to control it made him survive that atrocity.
And the refuge of the present moment.
Yeah.
So maybe even in that, the sense that the more there is change and uncertainty, then the more the present moment has to become more of a refuge. Live now, not next.
There is sometimes old people, and they have nothing to do with Buddhism, and they come up with sentences about impermanence. They say, "Oh, everything is constantly changing. Everything is dying. Everything." They have very simple words for it, but they have some realization about
The truth of
anicca.
things.
Yeah. Without ever knowing that there is even Buddhism or something like that.
Well, all that we need to do is just to look at things and notice that things change. And if we're moving so fast and we're moving faster than the change, we don't notice the change. Like if you go for a walk every day, then you can notice that things, flowers and trees and things change. But if you're just driving by really fast, you don't even notice. Oh, there's that building, there's that tree. You don't see the change. So slowing down so that we can be aware of the reality of things.
And the opposite is almost in a retreat, maybe under the guidance of a good teacher. We see the changes on a moment-to-moment level. And then we see that there is nothing to hold on anymore. Even right now, we don't have to wait for old age or whatever. So And that
Yeah.
can be very frightening, actually.
Frightening for self.
Yeah.
It's only the ego itself that gets stressed about change or uncertainty. And a lot of that just comes from thinking, wanting things to be a certain way, or hoping, or wishing, or etc. But if it's just awareness of what is, then there's peace. Peace in the present moment. So give some consideration to the truth of change, of impermanence, which then creates the reality of uncertainty, and that finding a way of accommodating that fact, that reality, so that we can flow with it and modify things. If things don't work out this way, then there's options for other ways. In terms of being able to just go with the flow and let go when we need to. So have a great evening. Thanks for coming out with the uncertainty of the weather. What was going to be maybe just a day of bit of cloud, a little bit of sunshine, and suddenly a downpour, sort of storm sort of weather. So thanks for coming, and see you next time.
Thank you.